La 69e remise annuelle des prix de l'Ordre du sport, présentée par Everest Funeral Concierge, est rendue possible grâce aux partenaires suivants. The 69th Annual Order of Sport Awards, presented by Everest Funeral Concierge, is brought to you by the following partners: Everest Funeral Concierge, Canadian Tire, Air Canada, Canadian Museum of History, CBC Sports, CN, RBC Capital Markets, TD Securities. Et grâce aux partenaires communautaires suivants. And by these community partners.
Shooting stars, I see shooting stars. In your eyes I see the Milky Way. I don't know where you're taking me. Destiny, is it destiny? 'Cause I'd wish upon an aeroplane. You'd stay with me until the end. And I'll keep holding on.
It's a hat-trick for Christine Sinclair.
'Cause in the sky I see us in the sun.
Stilwell pumping hard and she'll win the gold medal.
We are golden.
Got it! Everett, hey!
We are golden. We are golden. We are golden. We are golden.
Hailing from Garden River First Nation in Northern Ontario, Ted Nolan learned resilience and pride from his Ojibwe heritage and began a lifelong journey of following his dreams. After 2 seasons with the Ontario Hockey League's Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, the left winger played 78 National Hockey League games with Detroit and Pittsburgh before an eye injury cut his playing career short at age 26. Ted returned to the Sioux and began coaching in 1988. 2 OHL titles in a row and 3 straight Memorial Cup appearances culminated with a Memorial Cup championship in 1993. In 1995, Nolan was named head coach of the Buffalo Sabres. In his second season, Ted was named Coach of the Year. Nolan returned to junior in 2005 with the Moncton Wildcats and won a league title, another Memorial Cup appearance, and took home GM of the Year honors. He started the Ted Nolan Foundation in honor of his mother to support Indigenous women and also created 3 Nolans, a hockey school he runs with his sons, Brandon and Jordan. A role model and inspiration, Ted Nolan continues to follow his dreams.
Oh, you don't have to be that quiet. I just wanted to start off by saying, Ani, Chimigwech, Ted Nolan, Indigenous, Nishnabé Nozwin, Benapskomapi, Chifuli, Garden River and Donchaba, Martin and Dodom. I just really wanted to, first of all, thank you for this wonderful award. And as a builder, I guess I really wanted to start off from the beginning and thank the builders who helped build me. And particularly, I went to school till grade 12 at least, and I only remember two teachers, my grade 4 teacher and my librarian teacher, one who showed me kindness, because schooling for people back in the day wasn't the best places that we went to, but they showed me kindness and the love of reading, the librarian. So when I started playing hockey, my brother and we made a rink in our backyard, and I went to the city of Sault Ste. Marie, and I met the first general manager of the recreation hockey team that I played on. His name was Bill LeClaire. And he gave me some really sound advice because I was 15 years old, 14 years old, kind of lost. I really didn't know what I really wanted to do, but he gave me kind of directed me in the right way. So, which led into the opportunity of playing with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds of the Ontario Hockey League. And coming from where we came from, we didn't have a whole lot of extra funds to buy things. I didn't have a suit, and this gentleman by the name of Jim McCauley, he bought me my first suit while playing with the Sault Greyhounds. I wore that thing for 2 years, and but hopefully I looked good. But anyways, along the way, I had so many people that contributed to help, and we had a neighboring community. I'm from Garden River First Nation, and I live in a community next to the Batchewana First Nation, and a chief there at the time, his name was Duke Corbier. And he allowed me to skate on his outdoor rink for free because we didn't have a whole lot of extra money, and I learned how to skate a little bit extra there, and that's kind of propelled me into. But one of the biggest breaks I had when I was a little boy was playing for this organization called the Little NHL when I was 16, and it that's what I thought was coming in as a player, because the NHL, little NHL, I scored 14 goals in one game. So, but the little NHL was a great place for me to really sense that it gave me a sense of belonging, and it gave me a sense that we could play this game too. So I owe a lot to the little NHL for this journey. Then I fast track it to the National Hockey League. When you get there, my brother called me when I first got my first coaching job in the National Hockey League. He said, "Ted, what are you going to tell those NHL guys that they don't already know?" And I just come from junior hockey. He said, "I don't know what I'm going to tell them," until I met Pat LaFontaine, who was our captain at the time, and I remember what he said. He said, "Ted, you just you climb that flagpole and point the direction in which you want us to go, and we'll follow." And that was the type of leader that he was, and I owe a lot to my start to him. Sherry Basson, who gave me my first job in the Ontario Hockey League. Ted Lindsay, for some of the people my age and above. When I got drafted to the Detroit Red Wings, I was a scared, 19-year-old kid. And I left camp because the guys were too big and too fast and too powerful. They had mustaches and everything. They had legs about this big, and my waist was that big. I couldn't turn very, very good, and I left because I was too afraid. But yet here's another builder who knew the troubles that I was going through, and he called me up and convinced me. He said, "Ted, this is what we do. This is we'll show you how to get to the next level." And I went back, and the rest is history. And a couple years later, I played my first game in the National Hockey League, but there were just so many people that helped. I had so many people help me with the Ted Nolan Foundation. A former chief, former national chief. I see a couple chiefs here tonight. Phil Fontaine, who really reached out and gave me that support that I needed. Robert Irving. Some of you may have heard. When I got let go by the Buffalo Sabres, I was out of the game for 10 years. And I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. And all of a sudden I get a call one day from Robert asking me if I'd be interested in coaching his junior team. I didn't even know he owned a junior team. And I went to Moncton and coached Quebec, in a Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, which led back into the National Hockey League, and even led me back into having an opportunity to coach with the 2014 Sochi Olympics with Team Latvia. So, but all that wouldn't be possible if I didn't have so many people. But I guess the biggest support I had along the way is from my First Nation community. You get really nervous and what have you. But anyways, the First Nation community has always been a very big supporter They supported, they encouraged, they did everything. Sorry about that, but it's hard to get in front of a group and tell you how you feel from your heart. But anyways, they believed in me when I stopped believing. When I left the game for 10 years, I just didn't have any more belief in me. But they believed. And I guess I'll wrap it up here with probably the most important people in my life, my mom and dad. My mom taught me how to be proud of who I am as an Anishinaabe man, to be very, very proud of who we are and where we come from. And my father, he told us the importance of work. You don't have to have the best in order to be your best. He just told us to work, and I have a wonderful family. I got 6 brothers and 5 sisters, and my younger brother Steve is here, and my sister Barb is here celebrating with us. But we used to make a rink in my backyard, and I used to make it with a pail of water. And I'd go in the backyard and make it, and I'd never had any friends to help me with that pail. But when the ice was all done, my brother wanted to skate. And we were monkeying around. I shot the puck, hit him in the nose. And blood started coming down. And I said, you want to help out making this rink? So I drug him across the red line to make the red line with his blood. And I remember him crying, "Mommy, Mommy." So shh. But it was all there. But anyways, I just want to close off. I don't want to take too much time, but I just really want to close off by, I don't think I would ever be here without this young lady that I met when I was 18 years old. She was only 16, and we shacked up when she was 17 years old. And we got married when we were 19 years old. And we've been married now for 45 years. And we have two wonderful boys. And right now, I probably have the best job in the world. I get to work with my 2 sons, and we have a hockey program. And we travel around at First Nation communities in particular, and we try to talk to the kids about the importance of education and health and good living habits. So it's but all this wouldn't have been wouldn't have happened without Sandra. I think her parents are watching online, Morty and Shirley. I don't think they had a choice in the matter, but thank you for allowing me to marry your daughter. But anyways, I'm just really, really thrilled. And I just want to thank you for this wonderful, wonderful award. And it's great to be part of this class and part of the class that was before me. Because one thing about sports, it really does give us something to work with and to live by. So, Chimigwach.
I believe that Ted Nolan's story of resilience in his hockey career and coaching, and now what he does with his sons, but his struggle represented the struggle of a lot of Indigenous athletes. And he has been an incredible role model and inspiration to so many generations. And I want to thank you very much for what you've done and how you've never backed down and how you never gave up on yourself, on what you love to do, and what you mean to our community is everything. So thank you very much. A member of the class of 2025, our next inductee has inspired athletes and Canadians alike through her determination, resilience, and remarkable success on the Paralympic stage. Let's take a look at her journey.
Michelle Stilwell never stops moving forward. Born in Winnipeg, the sports-obsessed young athlete suffered a spinal cord injury at age 17 that left her a quadriplegic. But she didn't stop, she just changed direction. In 1997, Stilwell became the first quadriplegic to play wheelchair basketball at the international level. A year later, she helped Canada win the World Championships and followed that up by striking gold in the 2000 Sydney Paralympic Games. Health complications forced Michelle out of wheelchair basketball, but she started wheelchair racing and once again was off on a new path.
Stilwell pumping hard, and she'll win the gold medal.
Michelle broke records and struck gold 6 times over 4 Paralympic Games and was the first Canadian champion in 2 different sports, and she added another 8 golden titles at 4 World Championships. Away from sport, Stilwell has been equally impressive. As a public speaker, a fierce advocate and ambassador, always leading with empathy and lived experience, and forever moving forward.
Representing the sport of para-athletics as an athlete, please join me in welcoming Michelle Stilwell to the stage.
Presenting the Order of Sport Award to Michelle Stilwell is Peter Lawless of the Canadian Paralympic Committee.
Wow. I'm honestly pretty speechless. I know many of you know me in the room, that's hard to believe. But who would have thought that I would one day be here among some of Canada's greatest athletes? Certainly not me. I am so beyond proud and honored to be part of this incredible experience, this celebration of sport and perseverance. I want to thank the Hall of Fame for this extraordinary honor. It is such an incredible honor to have a light shone on my journey and allowing it to become a part of, small part of Canada's sporting history. When you write these speeches, you think I can do it. So I can. If my dad could be here tonight, he would be so proud. He is the one who got up in those early mornings, the crack of dawn, ate breakfast with me, loaded me into the car, and took me to those morning practices. He was the one who drove me and my teammates around rural Manitoba to compete in competitions, and he was the one who taught me that if I believed I could, I would. Sport has always been a part of my life. Growing up, I played ringette, baseball, I ran track. If the boys were doing it, I was trying to do it better, especially if it was my brother. When I was 17, my path changed overnight. And there were moments when I wondered, how could I? How would I? But the truth is, sport saved my life. It helped me rebuild my strength, my independence, and it gave me a community that understood me and my situation. It gave me purpose again. And then, along the way, I met Mark, my amazing husband. It was the weekend that I was invited to my first ever national team training camp. And I tell you, I don't think he knew what he was getting himself into, but he has been cheering me along ever since. I definitely don't think he knew what he was getting into, but I am sure grateful that he has stuck around for the ride and became the mayor of my village. Okay, Mama Bear's coming out. So, Kai, you've been along for the ride as well, not by choice. You were born into it, lucky you. But it has never stopped you from cheering for me, loud and proud, for your mom, on your uncle's shoulders in London. Ooh. But I want you to know that I am just as proud of you as you are of me. Oh, thanks. Everybody who's really close to me knows that I always cry, so it's good. I have had the absolute privilege to compete alongside some of the most incredible women, teammates who have become lifelong friends, and coaches who, like Peter, saw something in me before I ever saw something in myself. And he was dedicated to ensuring that I was going to stick with track and field when he introduced me to it. So much so that we have a long-standing joke about how he stalked me to encourage me to be part of track and field instead of basketball. And since then, we went on with a relentless pursuit of excellence to achieve amazing things and reach not only my goals, his goals. So today is about him, not just me. To my family, my friends, my cheer squad, who have made the trips, who have always been there, waving the flags, believing in me, every volunteer, every official, every physiotherapist, athletic therapist, they were all part of my journey, and I thank each and every one of them. None of us ever reached the finish line alone. It truly does take a village. Sport has given me more than just medals. It has given me a life filled with purpose, with pride, and with the privilege of representing Canada and wearing the maple leaf. So to anyone out there with a dream, keep going, because you just never know where it might take you. And when you get there, pay it forward. Because sport truly has the power to change lives. I'm living proof of that. Thank you.
If you're not almost crying all the time in these speeches, because you get the chance to kind of take a look back on how far you've come, and it's those people that never gave up on you when you were going to give up on yourself that just bring those tears out. And I can totally understand. I was bawling during my speech, and I'm sure there's going to be more tears, so I better get more of these as I'm standing to the side. Thank you so much, Michelle. Our next inductee is a visionary leader in sport administration, using her philanthropy and advocacy to create opportunities for children across Canada to access sport. Let's see more about her impact.
Meaningful change requires bold action, and Martha Billis's story of tenacity and transformation utilizes sport to empower people and communities. Born in 1940 in Toronto, the daughter of A.J. Billis, co-founder of the Canadian Tire Corporation, Martha forged her own way and navigated the corporate world at a time when women weren't the norm in leadership roles. Billis rose to become controlling shareholder of the company, and as a believer in sport's ability to build confidence and connection, she co-founded the Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities in 2005. Her vision was to eliminate financial barriers so that all children could benefit from the power of sport. In 2015, she focused on women in sports, starting Jumpstart's Girls in Sport and the Women's Sport Initiative. She was appointed an Officer of the Order of Canada in 2020 in recognition of her trailblazing contributions. The road Martha Billis has walked is one of perseverance, purpose, and a fearless approach to breaking down barriers.
Representing sport administration as a builder, please join me in welcoming the amazing Martha Billis.
Presenting the Order of Sport Award to Martha Billis is Rosie McLennan, two-time Olympic champion.
Oh my. Thank you. Thank you to Canada's Sports Hall of Fame, the selection committee, the nominators for bringing our Jumpstart work to the national stage tonight. Scanning this room, I see world champions, Olympic and Paralympic gold medalists, players, coaches, leaders. I see Canadian legends. Yet, my fellow inductees, despite of our lifetime's accomplishment, you and I, we know that some things never change. We can all remember the purest thrill of sport. Can we not? There's something about it's still captivating us. Chasing that ball down the field, going across the ice, racing faster than you ever have before. The rush of pushing ourselves just a little bit further. The camaraderie of friendly or not so friendly competition. The spirit of sports lives in all of us. It always will. Some things never change, but other things should. A quick Martha story. I was in the NHL once, not the one you heard about tonight or the other one you all know, but I didn't have the wingspan for these. My NHL was in grade 6, noon hour league. It was fall baseball and then spring baseball. You see, back in the early 1950s, we children didn't have regularly scheduled extracurricular sport. There was rarely anything planned. Even rarer was anything coached. So what we could do, we did. We organized ourselves. Every lunch hour, weather permitting, class members would race to the field like there was no tomorrow and play our hearts out and then return to the class with our scuffed knees and our gritty baseball hands, but those didn't matter. The dirt and the scrapes were all well worth it. When I returned to school later in life, this time as an elementary teacher, I saw that not much had changed. My class spent their physical education out in the field or in the gym. A gym without any equipment. Most shocking thing of all, I was their gym teacher. Sadly, I have recently learned that to this day, there is a profound shortage of gym teachers for our school children. Sadly, some things never change. My father would say, so let's see what we can do. My father, A.J. Billis, was just like you athletes. Fast forward. That's how Jumpstart was born. Jumpstart's mission is to eliminate barriers so that all Canadian children, all children, can have their lives enriched through sport. No need for me to tell you a lot about the lasting impact of that action. Social skills, self-esteem, they follow through in every aspect of life. Truth is, not every child will be the next Christine Sinclair or Darren Zack, but some of them will, and all of them will go on to give back to their communities and further the mission in their own way. In their own way for the next generation. In our 20 years, Jumpstart has created opportunities for more than 1 million children and youth all across Canada. Sorry, 4 million. A chance to play and to engage in sport. What started solely as a mission to remove financial barriers has become a mission to create equal opportunity for all. Through Jumpstart's Girls in Sport initiative, we have specifically allocated half of our total community investments to benefit girls and young women. I'm proud to share that Canadian Tire has followed suit through their Women's Sport Initiative. Indeed, gender parity matters. Through Jumpstart's Inclusive Play program, we've committed to invest $50 million to improve accessibility in sport through infrastructure, programming, and training. And we've already built more than 600,000 square feet of accessible sport and play spaces in over 50 communities across Canada. Intentional inclusion matters. I have long envisioned a Canada where all children can shape, can share in sport and spirit. Good news is, thanks to the power of us determined disruptors, we're getting closer, so some things never change, and for good reason. Those which infuse joy, exhilaration, and purpose must remain. Yet remember, other things should change, and it's up to us, yes, us, to make them. This is an immense honor. I share it with many minds, hands, and bodies who've been instrumental in pushing Jumpstart forward these past 20 years. Devoted employees, Canadian Tire dealers with the Tire family of companies, the generous customers who donate to help children to play, the driven Jumpstart team led by Marco, and all of our wonderful, strong athlete ambassadors, and My father, whose legacy of striving always to make things better. It lives on in each and every initiative. Thank you for the privilege of being here. I look forward to continuing to build the new status quo together with all of you. My thanks.
Thank you so much, Martha. And as a mother of a child, some children who have actually benefited from the Jumpstart program, what an incredible initiative. So thank you so much for all your work and the role modeling that you set for the entire corporate community to give back. So thank you so much. Now, this gentleman is a trailblazer in men's fast pitch. First and last time I met him was when we both got the Tom Longboat Award at the Canadian Sport Awards 25 years ago, and I haven't seen him since. But I've heard his legend told far and wide from the mouths of players and coaches and from people all over this country. He's a legend. And he excelled on the field, and he used sport to strengthen identity, mentorship, and opportunity in Indigenous communities. So let's watch a little bit about his journey.
Darren Zack is a legendary Ojibwe pitcher from Garden River First Nation in Ontario who dominated softball in the 1990s. The Z-Man started his career in 1974 with the Garden City Braves at age 14 and spent years refining his impressive arsenal of pitches. Named to the national team in 1991, Darren helped Canada win 3 straight gold medals at the Pan Am Games. He was a big part of 5 different World Championship winning teams as well, including an iconic run in 1995 that is the stuff of folklore. On the road to winning the title that year, Zack didn't allow a run in 10 straight games while striking out a record 150 batters. In 2009, he was inducted into the Softball Canada Hall of Fame, and in 2010 to both the ISF and ISC Hall of Fames. Zack remains active in his community as a mentor and lifelong advocate for youth engagement in sport and a champion of Indigenous rights.
Representing the sport of softball as an athlete, please join me in welcoming Darren Zack to the stage. Good to see you again.
La remise du prix de l'Ordre du Sport à Darren Zack sera effectuée par Brooke Malinowski, directrice principale affaires gouvernementales chez CN.
Hi, everybody. First thing I got to thank Nick Rusula. He nominated me for this. Honorable board members, members of distinguished classes past, fellow members of the class of 2025, I am honored to be in your company. My late dad, John, I wish you were here to celebrate. There'd be nobody prouder. Mom Edith, Sister Leslie Ann, Brother Mac, my wife Charlotte, my daughter Molly, Ann, and my grandchildren Nala, Leo, Keon, and Kovu, and my buddy Joe Corvia. Allow me to apologize in advance to the many I don't name. I respect and honor you all. This is for all my friends, my teammates, and supporters. I love you. To those that supported this nomination from the Zack family and the Canadian Fastball, namely Morley Watson, Bill Hillhouse, Chief Wilton Littlechild, Terry Bader, Ferdy Nielsen. I am humbled at your sentiments. To my teammates the world over on club teams in Vancouver, Massachusetts, Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin, Florida, New Zealand, my teammates on the Toronto Gators and Team Canada, This is for you too. To the many greats of men's fastball that helped fuel the fire from here in Canada, the US, New Zealand, during the golden age of men's fastball, Mike White, Mark Sorensen, Peter Meredith, and many, many more. My battery mates, Bruce Castleman, Doug Chase, Chuck Hendricks, what a team we made. To be the first male fastball player inducted in this is an honor to which words simply cannot describe. Here's to the day that other Canadian fastball greats, Mark Smith, Marty Kernaghan, Brad Underwood, Mike Piatnik, Robbie Genter, Jody Henniger, Gene McWillie, the late Robbie Scheller, and the late Pete Landers, and many equally deserving join me in this honor. I'd like to thank my First Nations family in Quebec, Roy Macapo, Roger Duff, Dude and the Bomberry family, Kevin Salt, and the family from the Six Nations, Dean Martin, Paul and Alice Sam, and the Shuswap First Nation. To all the Indigenous families throughout the world that have taken me and my family into their communities and shared their culture with us. Chimigoch.
I know, there must be something in the water up there in Garden River. We have two inductees from the same place. I think you're from Garden, right? And I think they might even be related. It might be a little bit of a distance relation. So incredible talent and advocacy, and it's great to see you again after all these years. And I get a chance to tell all these people who wish they could be here tonight that you were honored well and you spoke on their behalf. So congratulations, Zack. Congratulations to the softball community. And yes, I think we need more softball players in this Hall of Fame. So let's get cracking. Our next inductee has represented Canada with distinction on the Alpine Skiing World Cup circuit, achieving podiums and inspiration to the next generation of athletes. Over to Anastasia to share a bit about his journey.
Erik Guay grew up in the heart of the Laurentians, where his love of skiing was born on the slopes of Mont Tremblant. Hooked from his first race at age 5, Erik's determined and relentless drive led to a storied career of consistency and resilience.
What a performance by Erik Guay!
He made his first World Cup appearance in 1999, reached his first podium at Lake Louise in 2003, and in 2007, he struck gold for the first time. The three-time Olympian captured the Crystal Globe in Super G in 2010, and a year later was crowned the downhill world champion.
A remarkable performance.
In 2017, at age 35, Guay won gold and silver at the World Championships, becoming the oldest world champion medalist in alpine skiing history.
Canada's Erik Guay.
He would retire as the most successful Canadian male alpine skier of all time, with 25 career World Cup podiums. Now, on the Alpine Canada Board of Directors, an advocate for athlete safety, Erik is also an ambassador for where it all began, back home on the slopes of Mont Tremblant.
Representing the sport of alpine skiing as an athlete, please welcome Erik Guay.
Presenting the Order of Sport Award to Erik Guay is Daniel Labrec, CEO of DNA Capital.
Alors, bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear laureates, members of the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame, and the selection committee, I thank you. Standing here tonight, surrounded by some of the greatest names in Canadian history, is incredibly humbling. I'm deeply honored to be welcomed to the Canada Sports Hall of Fame, an institution that celebrates not only achievement, but also perseverance, community, and the unbreakable Canadian spirit. I'd like to start by thanking the people who helped shape this journey, of course my mother and father, for teaching me the love of sport, the love of skiing, and the love of the mountains. To my brothers, my lifelong teammates who pushed me to be better every single day, even when you didn't know it. To my wife, Karen, and my 4 amazing daughters, thank you for your love, patience, strength through every high and low. And my greatest joy is watching you compete and grow into healthy and happy young ladies. To my coaches, sponsors, teammates, and the incredible support staff who guided me along the way, this recognition is as much for you as it is for me. Skiing's taken me to the top of the mountains and sometimes to the bottom in more ways than one. But through all the victories and the setbacks, I learned that success isn't measured by medals or titles, but by resilience, humility, and the people who stand with you when things get tough. I was proud to wear the maple leaf on my chest for nearly 2 decades, every time I stood in the start gate, whether at the Olympics, World Championships, Kitzbühel, or at home in Lake Louise. I felt the weight of that leaf and the pride of representing a country that believes in courage, fairness, and grit. Sport's more than a competition. It's a teacher. It teaches discipline, empathy, teamwork, and hope. It gives young people purpose and belonging. It builds stronger communities, healthier families, and a more united nation. But access to sport, that's where the real work lies ahead. Talent exists everywhere in this country, from downtown Toronto to the smallest villages in the north. Opportunity does not. We owe it to the next generation to make sport accessible to all Canadians, regardless of where they're from or what their family can afford. Thank you. Because when you give a kid a chance to play, you give them a chance to dream, and that dream can change a life. Canada's a country built on challenge, long winters, rugged terrain, and endless horizons. But that's also what makes us strong. We're a nation of perseverance, a nation that believes that effort, not circumstance, defines who we are. Tonight, as I join this incredible family of Hall of Famers, I carry with me not just memories of races won and lost, but a deep gratitude for the people and the country that made it possible. Let's keep inspiring. Let's keep opening doors, and let's make sure that every young Canadian knows that no dream is too big, no hill is too steep, and no finish line is too far. Merci beaucoup.
As a member of the class of 2025, our next inductee has left a lasting mark on curling, leading his teams to national and international victories while exemplifying leadership and sportsmanship. Let's watch a little bit about his career.
Kevin Martin changed the face of curling while becoming one of the greatest skips to ever play the game. Growing up an athletic prodigy, Martin started curling at the age of 7. The native of Lougheed, Alberta, won in his first appearance at the Brier and would go on to capture 4 Canadian championships over his illustrious career.
Right where he wants to be, on top of the curling world again, Kevin Martin.
Affectionately known as the Old Bear, Martin also skipped Team Canada to global fame, capturing the world title in 2008. A 3-time Olympian, Kevin took home silver in Salt Lake in 2002 before striking gold on home ice at Vancouver 2010. Part of a magical run as the first team to ever go unbeaten at the Olympic Games. Martin retired in 2014 and remains a devoted curling ambassador, promoting inclusivity and accessibility while mentoring the next generation.
Representing the sport of curling as an athlete, please welcome Kevin Martin to the stage.
Presenting the Order of Sport Award to Kevin Martin is Randy Furby of Everest Funeral Concierge.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. For anybody that knows curling a great deal, that was a very unique thing with Randy and myself. We competed, yes, there's a few laughs. We competed extremely hard against each other for quite a few years. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here. Shauna, my wife, is here, and we were talking earlier, the beautiful building. This is probably the nicest venue that I've ever been in. So, Canadian Museum of History, thank you so much. Yes. You know, when looking back at the time when I'm competing, training, working hard, I don't think you ever even consider something like this. You go out on the field to play, do your very best, win as much as you possibly can. But something that I always live by, and I think it's a good rule of thumb, is you only win your fair share. And of course, the harder you work, like a lot of the people that are sitting up here, the harder you work, of course, your fair share goes up. So that's something that I've always considered to be very important, because obviously you're not going to win all the time, and sometimes you're going to lose. But if you've worked harder in your mind than anyone else and you lose, it's okay. It's all right. You've done everything you possibly can, and it makes the winning even better. A few very important thank yous. Obviously, Shauna, who puts up with me. Anybody that knows me personally in this room knows that's a very difficult thing to do. All of my family, of course, going back with my dad that was a curler. My mom was a taxi driver, taking myself and my two sisters to all over the place to do our various sports. Our kids are big into sports. Our grandkids are getting big into sports. So family means so much when it comes to having the opportunity to be here tonight. Jules Ochar, I need to say thank you to, and that is a name that means a lot to the sport of curling. When I moved up I'm a farm kid from a small town, Lougheed, Alberta. When I moved up to Edmonton to go to college, I went to NAIT, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, because Jules was the coach there. He was the best curling coach at that time in the world. And so as a junior, he was my coach, and 30 years later, when I retired, he was still my coach. So I only had one coach in my entire time as Jules Ochar. Big thank you to Jules. Curling is the ultimate team sport, you guys. No matter how you throw it, you can throw the rock exactly straight down the broom with exactly the right amount of weight and exactly the appropriate amount of rotation. But if it's not communicated between you and the rest of your team, you won't be successful. The shot won't end up at the other end where you want it, because it is extremely important. The person in the house calls it right. The sweepers direct it right. And then if you've thrown it right, you have a chance. So it's a very, very unique sport. So I thank you very much for the opportunity to be Canada Sports Hall of Fame in the Order of Sport. It means a great deal to myself and our family. Thank you.
One of my best friends, Dana, is probably Canada's #1 curling fan. And she's just going to be blown away that I got to meet him. She sat me down, made me watch the Scotties and watch everything. And, you know, as a water polo player, I'm like, when do you get to hit each other? When do you actually get to fight with each other? Anyway, it's congratulations and what an honor. Our final inductee, wow, we're at our final inductee, but they are a trailblazer in Canadian soccer, whose leadership and dedication have inspired athletes across the country and around the world. Let's take a look at her remarkable career.
Born into a soccer family in Burnaby, BC, to becoming the GOAT, Christine Sinclair is a symbol of what you can achieve with passion, perseverance, and heart. A national team member at 16, she would go on to play 331 games for her country, appearing in 6 World Cups and 4 Olympic Games.
It's a hat-trick for Christine Sinclair!
Sinclair led Canada to Olympic bronze at both London 2012 and Rio 2016, and then reached the Golden Summit at Tokyo 2020.
Canada gold!
Alongside national success was a prolific professional career with the Portland Thorns. When all was said and done, Sinclair left the sport as the all-time leading international goal scorer, man or woman, with 190 goals.
The Queen of the North!
Also a vocal advocate for gender equity, Christine has used her platform to push her sport for better support, infrastructure, and funding. And she continues to inspire as part owner of the Vancouver Rise in the Northern Super League, Canada's first women's professional soccer league. Christine Sinclair, a legend, and simply put, the face of soccer in Canada.
Representing the sport of soccer as an athlete, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Christine Sinclair.
La remise du prix de l'Ordre du Sport à Christine Sinclair sera effectuée par Erik Lauzon, directeur des relations et partenariats avec les collectivités chez Air Canada.
Okay, here we go. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here tonight. Those of you that know me know that this speech is going to be pretty short. And I also recognize that I am what is between you and dinner. So I'll keep this quick. You know, standing here tonight, being inducted into Canada's Sports Hall of Fame and receiving the Order of Sport is truly humbling. I've always believed that no one achieves anything alone, and this honor reflects the people and the country that have supported me every step of the way. I wouldn't be here without my family. Yeah, you're right. It's hard not to cry up here. Woo! Especially my parents, who I wish more than anything were here, but I know somehow they're watching this. And to my brother, thanks for allowing me to tag along. But to the rest of them, thank you for your endless love, patience, and belief. You've been there since the beginning, you know, from the backyard games, the basement games, the living room games, you know, to the biggest stages in the world. None of this would have happened without my family. To my teammates for club and country, I think I saw Diana Matheson creep in here at the end. You guys became my chosen family, and this recognition belongs to all of you, as well as all the players that paved the way for myself and never got the recognition they deserved. You've pushed me, you inspired me, and you made me better both on and off the pitch. You know, we shared moments that define not just our careers, but the direction of women's sport in Canada. To my coaches, there's been so many, you know, thank you for challenging me. Thank you for believing in the power of our team long before the world did. And to Canada, thank you for believing in us. Every time we pulled on that jersey, we felt your pride and your passion. You've helped make women's soccer part of our national identity, and that's something I'll always carry with me. Congratulations to all of tonight's inductees. It is truly an honor to be recognized alongside people who have helped shape the story of sport in this country. And lastly, while tonight and this moment celebrates the past, it's also about the future. The growth of women's sports in Canada is stronger than ever, and it's up to all of us to keep building, to keep opening doors, and to make sure that the next generation of girls know that there's no limit to what they can achieve. Thank you. So I promised I would keep it short. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
It has been an honor to be part of presenting this remarkable class with the Order of Sport, recognizing their outstanding contributions to the communities that they come from, as well as the shaping of this country's sporting community, as well as all the ways that they've touched everybody in this country. As athletes and sport builders, thank you for inspiring all of us. You're role models, and you're icons, and you're leaders, and you show each and every child in this country what's possible. And that is priceless, absolutely priceless. So thank you so much for all that you've done. Again, to our longstanding presenting partner for the Order of Sports Awards, Everest Funeral Concierge, thank you for your unwavering support in honoring lives well played and well lived. To our partner and gracious host for the day, this beautiful place, Canadian Museum of History, thank you so much. And to the national partner, CN, for your cherished partnership, thank you for always showing up and supporting. We're so grateful. To the other national partner and official airline for Canada's Sports Hall of Fame, Air Canada, thank you for helping ensure that the class and the team members of the Hall of were able to get here tonight safely and on time. To our great friends at CBC Sports, I love CBC, who have always bring these stories to life. You do such an incredible job in transmitting the emotion of these journeys in all that you do. And the Order of Sport Awards are so special, so thank you for doing your best, CBC, and always telling the heart of the story. You know, the Canadians from coast to coast are watching tonight, and they are saying a big thank you to every single one of the sponsors who make tonight possible, including Purelator, who helped mobilize the artifacts from the amazing class exhibit you're about to see here tonight, right over there. And to many generous community partners who have joined Canadian Tire, RBC, Capital Markets, and TD Securities, and contributed to the support and the relaunch and the expansion of Canada's Sports Hall of Fame's National Education Platform, coming in 2026. So thank you so much for supporting that initiative. We continue to celebrate the power of sport. It is incredible, but sport would be nothing without the people who play it, build it, and support it. And that is what the Hall of Fame Sport Awards are all about, recognizing that work at long last. And before we continue, we'd like to invite all the members of the class of 2025 to join us center stage for an official Order of Sport photo. And if you want to get that photo, you can come and join them up over here. So please come over here.